Hello there and welcome to my world of programming. My name is Tumitladi and thank you for checking out this video. However, I want you to be aware of something. I am limited as to what do I upload on my socials, especially on TikTok. For that, please check this YouTube channel. I will link it on the description. This is where I was going on and on about my previous system, Identical Dogs. This I go in detail. And here, all these videos, I've uploaded them on YouTube as well. Please take a look at them. There they are, right? Cool. What are we going to talk about today? Please know that for 25 Rand, I can teach anyone who wants to learn programming or development, right? Whether mobile apps, software, or even web applications or database. So what I do, I like to give you the insights as to how I build the systems, particular lessons and tips. For that, we're going to focus on Web API. I have done a couple of videos talking about what Web API is. Other people call it a web service, other people call it a backend, others call it a RESTful service, right? So I've already fired this application, right? Here it is. And we'll talk about what you see here in a second. And I'm already on the website and I'm going to talk about something. Let me just prepare to show you what I'm talking about. I'm excited about this topic because somebody taught me this contracts. We're going to talk about contracts. All right. Oh, the way I love programming. I was paying attention to this guy asking questions like, what do you mean contracts? Like, how do web APIs work? So, on Web API project, remember this is ASP.NET Core Web API targeting.NET 7. So I have a folder called contracts, right? So there are two things that are happening. As much as I want to talk about the versioning, like version 1, version 2, I'm not going to do that yet. I want you to understand contracts. But I'm going to go with the version 1 because most of you do version 1, right? I'm going to talk about this class in a second. And I want to talk about, firstly, I'm going to do part 1. We're going to talk about requests and we'll talk about the responses. I'll make another video. So let's talk about requests. So what I want to talk about on the website is feedbacks. So my app that's currently on Google Play Store and Apple Store, when you logged in, you are able to leave a feedback, a suggestion, a complaint, a recommendation, whatever it is. They all land on my dashboard portal, right? These are all of them. In total, I have 9. All right. So let's see if we can send another request. So this class API routes, you have to denote it and say this is for version 1 because even version 2 has its own class. But we're not going to talk about version now. Okay. So let's go to feedbacks. Here's the feedbacks. So just a class that says public static class, right? I have a 2 const variables, right? Get all feedbacks and post one feedback. For now, I'm gonna focus on get all feedbacks, right? So this is the URL that points to my web API, my RESTful service. So now you understand this, right? Cool. So let me quickly go to the controller, V1, general feedbacks. There we go. The first thing I need you to note is that it's protected and we are saying this is API. I'm not going to dive into what controllers are. I just want to show you how it works, right? So using dependency injection, so that means I have a service, it's a dependency injectable right now using the constructor. All right, and then here I'm saying get all feedbacks, right? You see this guy, it should return, as you can see, it's going to produce response type of 200 and it's going to be of type list of get all feedbacks response 1. You know what, I'm sorry, we're going to start with posting. We need to submit something because we need to start with this one before we can get something, right? All right, so sorry about that. Post one feedback, it should be easier that way. So let's close this one and we're going to come to post. So this one adds one feedback from the user to the system, right? So here we're gonna produce a 200. If everything is okay, it's gonna be of type void. This is what I want to focus on. It's gonna receive the request packaged as a request, right? So let's go and take a look at that from request, general. Do you see how disciplined I am when it comes to the foldering structure? Wow, so here it is. So this is a typical class, right? Remember there's a video that I made that talks about database, what database looks like and everything. Please watch those 4 parts of the videos. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. But my database, it's called the feedbacks, right? It expects a title, it expects a message, the rating, when it was created, and the user. You need to know who the user is, right? Like the way you are seeing it right here. Let me just refresh to keep this session alive. There we go. Cool. So this is the request. I'm expecting this from the user. Again, let's go and say, let's look for feedbacks. Here's the feedbacks, right? So let me close the rest before they confuse me. We'll talk about versioning whenever I come back to Web API. Okay, forget about that. We're gonna focus on feedbacks, particularly post. And there's a video that I made specifically that talks about Swagger. What is this UI all about? What's the importance of this? Okay, I don't have enough time, but let's go. Right, so this is going to be the request body. It tells me this is what we're expecting from you as the user. So my mobile app already knows this, but you need to do this before you can go to the mobile app. You need to test your web API to make sure that it works, it's fully functional before you can integrate it to the mobile app or web or software. Right, I'm going to say title is going to be test feedback. Then the message is going to be, this is a feedback message. The rating, let's give it rating of number 3, right? Because this is integer. How do I know this again? Here it is. I already know. So like I said, the mobile app knows. It's those stars, the ratings, it knows. And when was it created? Oh, I love this. Okay, let's make it yesterday, the 5th, because currently daytime is the 6th. Let's make it yesterday. It's fine. I don't care about this time. The user, let's just say it's gonna be, let's say TikTok user. Note these are the 5 things I'm asking from the user, but the request expected, well, yes, 5 things, right? There we go. So let's hit execute. So before we hit execute, we can either get a bad request or 200, because that's what I said, that it's gonna produce 2 things. It's gonna produce status of a bad request or 200. If it's a bad request, it knows how to show the errors, but if it's 200, it's gonna be void. There we go. Let me hit execute. And it returned 200. You see, server response is 200. That means it worked. It was success. Then let's check that. Currently there's still 9. Let me hit refresh. And there we go. So now there are 10. You see, that's post. You want to check that. So the title is a test feedback. This is the message. This is a feedback, and the rating right now is 3. You see, it was created 5th September 2023 because I moved it backwards, and by the user called TikTok. But I want you to note something. It says show public, it's false by default. Why it's so important? I have decided that whenever you submit a feedback, I want to see it. I don't want you to write something stupid and it's going to be publicly there. I want to see it before I can make it available. I'll do this in the next part, right? How do we do that? But I just want to show you how the database looks like quickly, because we're out of time. Class called the feedbacks. There we go. So feedbacks also has this property, aka column, called show public. Do we want it to be publicly visible? Yes or no? You see, by default it's false. There we go. Sounds happy? All of this is 25 Rand. I can teach you all of this. You saw web API, data went to database, it was pulled by the web, you know, it can be visible to the app, you understand? I can teach you for 25 Rand per session, Monday to Friday, 8 until 9, for only an hour per session. Sounds good? I'll leave my numbers. Thank you.